Hello, my name is Jerome from Signature Cruise and Travel, powered by Travelution.
And this is Inocencia coming to you again on this training. Excited about it.
Well, thank you for joining us in this training session, and we'll go right into it. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Share your screen.
Okay, it says host disabled, participant screen sharing. So we'll need some help getting the access to screen sharing our screen. Still disabled.
You should be good now.
Okay, there we go. Awesome, there we go. So today we really wanted to dive a little deeper into what it takes to really grow your business in an exponential way, share with you what has worked for us, and hopefully you apply some of these principles and it'll work for you as well. So we wanted to discuss the DNA of a great travel advisor, transforming from a transactional to a relational relationship with your client. So let's begin from the beginning. When we're talking about when you have a client that's interested in a vacation or a trip, there's a planning and consultation phase. And it starts in that experience, whether it's Jamaica or Mexico or St. Thomas, that experience starts with you. The trip, I've had so many times clients walked away after I've spoken with them about their vacation plans with the words, "I'm excited." So it really does start with you. When you're in that consultation and planning phase, listen to your client needs. Oftentimes, listen for what they're not saying. Some of those needs are not even expressed. And you have to, as a travel advisor and professional, pick up on what they need. Sometimes it's, hey, I recently had a surgery, and I know that typically may mean, or I'll ask, does that mean you'll need a wheelchair assistance at the airport? There might be, my wife is diabetic. Will you need, what other special needs will you need? Will you need make sure that we have a refrigerator in your room for possible insulin? These are the type of things that I'm talking about, the details behind what your clients are saying, beyond just what destination they want to do, what type of excursions they want to do. As a professional, you're listening for all of these details to make sure that their planning phase goes very well. In the planning and consultation phase, after you've had a chance to listen to your clients and ascertain what they need, you take time out to advise them of what you feel will be best for their travel needs, and then present them with a proposal and for the ideal destination as well as arrangements. Because sometimes they'll ask you, I'd like to go somewhere, but what do you think? Or based on their needs, if they're talking about perhaps a destination that requires a lot of walking, and they're elderly and they may not be up for that, you can bring that up and say, hey, I've been to this location that you're talking about, that particular resort. We've been to resorts when we do fam trips, and we found that a lot of the lodging areas is far from where the dining is. And so those are the type of things that we try to take into an account when we're talking to and advising and recommending a destination or the arrangements that they have in mind. After you've done that, you have to follow up. Oftentimes you'll send a proposal and life gets in the way, and the client is interested, but life gets in the way and they haven't gotten back to you. And so you have to follow up and finalize that booking, oftentimes to help save your client money. so that you can get the best. Oftentimes I have to contact. Just this week, I was booking a set of clients on a cruise, and they all wanted to kind of get together, be together. And I had to follow up and say, hey, we really need to get this going because I got cabins on hold for you, but it's only a 24 or 48-hour hold. We need to get this going. So that follow-up for their benefit is well worth it. And then oftentimes they're happy that you actually did take time out to let them know what the situation is. It's not harassing them or trying to make a sale. It's when you approach it from I'm trying to do the best for you scenario. So once the Travelution has done what we just talked about, they had the consultation, they listened to their clients, they advised them on what's the best location to go to, and even followed up and booked the client. Oftentimes, that's where an average or typical agent or advisor stop. Many stop there and wait for the commission, and they're pretty much done. It's almost like a set it and forget it type of thing. And this is where we find a lot of people will pretty much end this particular transaction. They just wait for the commission and they're pretty much done. But there's more. There's the follow through. These are important, integral steps that we felt we wanted to really share with you that elevates you to the next level. Check for this, check the schedule changes and COVID protocol updates and et cetera. Especially of late, protocols have changed quite a bit. You might have booked and advised and spoke with this client 3 months ago, planning for their trip, their vacation this month, and protocols might have changed. What's required? In some cases, when I booked a client, all that was needed is a positive COVID test. Now that same country is looking for a travel authorization or a health form and things of that nature. Bringing that to your client's attention is very helpful. So also you can send enjoy your trip or bon voyage email or text. It's a follow through, but after the booking that really helps. It goes a long way.
One thing that I want to chime in here as someone who also worked for an airline, and because of COVID, the experience is different, right? People want to travel. People want to travel now. Some people don't want to wait. And what Jerome just said is critical and is important. You have no idea how many customers, and I say customers based on my job, not clients, right? Because it's not the business. I'm speaking about my job. But you don't know how many customers I deal with on almost a daily basis that gets to the airport. They book their trip. They did it through Expedia or Cheap Air or a travel agent or travel agency, and they get to the airport and do not have the proper documentation that they need to travel. They had no idea that they needed the positive COVID testing. They didn't know when they needed the COVID testing. And what happened with them is that, unfortunately, because they are not able to board the plane, right, their whole vacation and their whole plan gets ruined. So as travel advisors, it is critical. It is important. I don't know how to emphasize that because I'm dealing with it from both ends of the spectrum and of the candle. I'm dealing with it as someone who works for an airline, and I hear the customers, I hear the tears, I hear the complaint, I hear the frustrations coming out of their mouth. And on the other side, I'm a travel advisor, right? So I'm learning what not to do as an advisor. Those other companies or the agency, they are transactional. Once they get that money, once they get that commission, once they get that check, they are done. They don't want anything else. Call the airline, right? Call the resort. They don't take, right? These agencies, right? They don't take the time to do the things that a great travel advisor will do, which is this: follow through. Follow through. Okay, you had the sale, you had the booking, whatever the case may be, but you must follow through so that your clients are not the clients that are showing up at the airport trying to board a plane and the entire vacation is messed up because you, as the great travel advisor, did not take the time to follow through by checking their schedule, making sure that nothing has changed. Because to be perfectly honest with you, we did what we had to do for them. But if we want to continue to speak about serving our clients with excellence, we have to go the extra mile. And the extra mile is doing these type of things, making sure that our clients are aware of COVID restrictions. What are the protocols? What do you need? Is it good enough that I have my vaccination? Well, in this day and age, sometimes the vaccination is not good enough because there are certain countries that requires you to be vaccinated, but at the same time are requiring you to have a negative PCR test, right? So you have to get the testing. So that's just some of the things that you need to follow through to ensure that your client experience is a great experience from the beginning. So don't be a transactional travel advisor, right? You want to get out of that category because you want to be able to service your customers, your clients with excellence. You don't want them to have to be the one stuck, whether it's at the airport or any place else. You want to be able to service them till the end.
Everybody loves a person that's looking out for them.
That's it.
We just do it on a professional level, understanding the industry, understanding the stresses that come with travel, the particulars and the requirements that as an advisor, as opposed to an agent, that's what we're here to do.
Mhm.
So we've talked about the difference between an advisor and an agent. And what we wanted to do was really refine that discussion to talk about the steps that we have taken to grow our business, but also our relationships with our clients. Each of these items that we're talking about now are touch points.
Mhm.
This gives you the opportunity, if you're intentional about it, to continue to really develop that relationship that you're trying to establish, or establish and then develop.
Right.
Each one of these can be positive experiences. And oftentimes when it comes to travel, there's always something that comes up, and we'll talk about a little bit more, but all of those positives that you're building up on the front end of the relationship kind of softens it as it relates to dealing with anything that's negative. And so these are why sometimes I go a little fast. I want to explain a little bit more about like what's behind what we're saying type of thing, so that you can kind of think about it for yourself and see what makes sense. And not every one of these steps is for every type of trip or vacation.
Right.
Pull out of it what's required, or you think that's useful for any given situation or travel arrangement that you're providing for your clients. We don't do this for every single person. Sometimes it's really quick trips and things of that nature. But when you have the opportunity to have these touch points, take advantage of them so that you're on the top of their minds when they're thinking about their next travel arrangements, or when they're talking to somebody else about it and they're thinking about you. So let's move on. Acknowledge the final check and arrangements. And what I mean by that is call your client to confirm that they're all set. What we do now, especially I would say, is this is something we've learned in the last year of travel because of all the changes that have taken place. And we found that I wish I was doing it for the last several years. So I'm just sharing with you so that you don't have to wait several years to kind of. What I have done is literally take a look at their reservation, make sure that the flight is set, the resort is set, the transfers are set, and typically that's an easy process. Oftentimes when there are changes, especially when you're working with a tour operator, Pleasant Holidays or Vacation Express or even Expedia, they will send you updates regarding that anything that you booked, especially when it comes to a flight change or if there's something going on at the hotel. For instance, about a couple of months ago in Mexico, there was a hotel, I'm trying to remember the name of it, but the important part is there was a hotel that lost power. And so they had to transfer anybody that was planning on going to that hotel. They were going to take them and send them to sister hotels. And it was up to you to see that whole email. And if you had a client traveling during that time period, because that power outage situation was going to be for the next several weeks, even though it was, for here in the US, we kind of take it for granted, if you power out, a few hours, we're back on. But some of these other countries, that fix is not so quick. So it might be an infrastructure situation. So have we had clients in that situation, not only would we have advised them of that, but if whatever hotel they were automatic, because they were sending them to different sister hotels, we could have taken advantage of, hey, which one do you prefer, so that we can get you on the preferred list of the preferred hotel that you would prefer to go to. And so it's things like that that are helpful. And so each time I have the opportunity, especially when it comes to vacations that involve, flight and hotel and transfers, things of that nature, those more complex trips, we make sure, or vacations, we make sure to take a look, usually about 7 to 10 days out. And give them a call and say, hey, it looks like you're all set. We checked through your travel arrangements. Everything looks good. And so you're all set to go. In that conversation, I'll remind them, make sure if it's a country that requires a COVID test, 3 days out, 7 days out, whatever that number of days out, remember, get your COVID test done. Make sure within this certain amount of time, this is when the sample needs to be pulled. And sometimes you have to be specific with them so that they understand what's going on. And oftentimes that's when I get that conversation with, I was planning on taking you about on this date. No, that's 4 days out from the sample. But what if it happens, if I don't get my results quick enough? And we never try to recommend a specific place for that, but I just let them know if people go to their local Dwayne Reed or Walgreens or things of that nature, and we haven't had an issue where a client didn't get the results in a timely fashion. So go to the reputable places, and you should be okay with that.
Yeah. One of the things too about the follow through and acknowledging and making sure that all of their arrangements are good is really a two-way street, because there are times that the client is experiencing a certain situation. It could be an emergency, and they are not in the right frame of mind to think about the upcoming vacation, right? They're so embedded in, focusing on what is happening at that time that the upcoming vacation is the last thing on their mind. So that's the reason why it's important to make sure that you're having some kind of touch point with your client after the booking. Is not okay, I booked you, set it and forget it, we're done, I'm waiting to get my money. No, it is very, very critical. And I know you guys might be listening to us and saying, man, they sound like a broken record. They just keep repeating the same thing over and over and over. Well, the reason why we, but they say repetition is the mother of knowledge, or something like that, right? So in order for you to learn something, right, you don't learn it the first time you see it, or everybody don't have that kind of brain, so sometimes we have to repeat the things to ourselves in order for it to stick, in order for us to realize the importance of it, right? So we this training, right, that we are doing is to share what works for us, what has worked for us. And so, yes, we're going to repeat it because it's what worked. And we want it to work for you. As Jerome said, you may not take everything. Everything that we say may not suit you. You may feel that it doesn't apply to you. And that's okay, right? Because you could never say that you weren't, that the information was not shared with you, right? And that's all we are doing. We're sharing the information because we know how critical it is to make sure of following through, follow through with your clients. And it's not about, I booked the trip, I got my deposit, I got the final payment. Oh, done with you, next. No, you have to be open, right? I think that's an easier pill to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
Keep an open mind, right? That situations with that particular booking may happen. Hence, the schedule change or whatever. And it is your responsibility. It may seem that it's the client responsibility, but if you are a great advisor, it is your responsibility to make sure that the information, right, that has been sent, the change in schedule of the plane, there was something happening at the hotel. You also, as an advisor, because your email, right, is part of that booking, you are getting this information. So don't just look at an email and be like, oh, I'm finished with that client. I'm not even reading that email.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it in the subject line.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you finish that transaction. If you receive some information that is going to impact that client, it is your responsibility to make sure that that client know what is going on. So yes, you're going to confirm that they're all set. They all set because you checked and you make sure everything was okay for them. They transferred their hotel, their plane, if they had a crew, if they had, any kind of activities, whatever it is that you help them put together, you just follow through and make sure that every single one of it is okay and is taken care of. When you make that phone call, and you confirming to them and they're confirming to you that they are all okay. So it's the confirmation is a two-way street, because if anything's happening, if you hear something in the tone of their voice, if they come up and they say, you know what, right now I'm in the middle of something, I may have to cancel, I may have to postpone, then now, right, the great travel advisor can jump in and go and do what they need to do in order to save the day for your client. Because if there's something that have to happen at the last minute, a cancellation because of illness or whatever the case may be, you are on top of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you are on top of it because you kept that communication line open and because you follow through. So that is critical component of our success.
And what we're oftentimes in that conversation, remember, we like to express ourselves as being sharing, being a part of that experience before they're even traveling. So to keep that excitement going for the client. Now they're already excited and hyped. Everybody loves a vacation, but hey, share the excitement. Pack me in your suitcase. I would love to come with you. It's like that bonding moment that says, hey, I would have loved to have come with you on this trip. This is an exciting trip. It's almost like you're patting yourself on the back. I did a great job for you. I wish I was going. So often I'll be so jealous when I'm booking Hawaii or some of these great destinations, and so it just continues that spirit of excitement. I'm going to be able to relax and to know in the screen we're talking about somebody's checking things out for me, and I feel confident about what's happening, where I'm going to go. I'm going to be able to relax. I know somebody's watching out for me. I've even taken it to steps where I will watch if there's a connecting flight
status.
To check the flight status. So It's been helpful when I can text, say, I just saw that your connecting flight is going to be a little delayed, something of that nature. They may not get it because they're in flight or traveling already, but when they finally do, it's just nice to know that somebody's watching out for you, almost like from above, so this type of thing, Big Brother's watching you. And people seem to really appreciate that because it is that you are moving from that, I booked you, set it and forget it, to this person is really looking out for me, and they generally care about what transpired. Absolutely. So with all of that, and now that we've done the follow through, and they're getting ready to get on their trip, the next step is, of course, the next stage of this is being present. And I was trying to think of, I try to keep these slides as simple as possible. And so I was thinking, be present. I'm going to have to really explain that, but maybe not, because I'm with the group of Travelution agents that we work with, or advisors that we work with. I think you pick up on it fairly quickly. What I mean by that is being alert while your clients are traveling. Be aware of their travel dates. So every day when I start my work day, I check one of the first things, I check my personal calendar, and all the normal checks. But part of my checks is if you have a great CRM product, one of the first things on the login screen is all of the trips that your clients are about to take, and the ones that they're already in that are taken. There's a special section in the CRM that just lists all current trips and people that are clients that are on your trips. And fortunately, we've been blessed where almost every week there's somebody in some destination that's traveling or just about to. So the other thing is we wanted to, as far as being present, this is the key for us, is answer the call, text, or email from in-destination clients that are traveling. That's what I mean by in-destination, or already at their location. It could be something very simple. It might be complex. You never know until you answer the call. We try to make sure to answer the call within that same day, if at all possible, or within 24 hours is what we try to do. Now, answering those calls is sometimes very tough, because who's calling while they're on vacation? This must be trouble. I don't want to answer this call. I don't have time. I don't want to take time. Whatever it is, it's always nerve-wracking when I answer that call, when I already know that they're in destination, they're traveling. What happened? And if you ever been, if you've ever been on a phone call with the airlines or resort or something, it can take hours before you get through. Yesterday, I got a call from clients that were in destination in Denver. And what they wanted was to move their flights a day earlier. They realized that their conference was ending a day earlier than what they planned or had asked me to book. And they wanted to make that change, so they gave me a call. It was easy enough. All I had to do, I set their expectations. Hey, I'll take a look. They wanted to make sure it was a direct flight. There's not a lot of direct flights between the two city pairs that they were working with, but I found one. And it was just a matter of, hey, I'll look into it for you. I'll check to see. Oftentimes there's a difference in fares. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. I'll see what that is. But if I can help around that, I will. And with Southwest Airlines, they make things very easy. You just log in with the confirmation number, the name of the passenger, and hit change the flight. And I saw how much the difference was. I contacted my clients, and they approved the change. I have their credit card on file. I was able to do all of this within 15 minutes. Now, that's 15-minute engagement. First of all, to be on the other end of the line answering the call on a Saturday, I think it was around 6 o'clock, yesterday around 6 o'clock when I got this call. Most agencies are closed. They're not doing business. They're out mowing the lawn, shopping. This is a passion for us, travel. And not everybody's full-time, some are part-time, and that's okay. What's key is just setting the expectations of your client. So if you have a voicemail that says we're open between this hour and this hour, if you have any urgent calls, please call your airlines directly or something of that nature, or leave a text, whatever you decide how emergencies should be handled with your clients. Leave that message so that you're setting the expectation. Not everybody's full time. But as you're setting those expectations, then that will go a long way. So it was certainly after hours for me, but I was sitting here working on some other travel arrangements. And so, of course, I noticed, I saw the caller ID. I know it was a client that was in destination. Those are the opportunity, even though it's kind of rough and it takes time away, and you know there's going to be something you're going to have to do sometimes. If you can take advantage of those moments, those are the ones that will help you grow with that client exponentially. Everybody is around for the good and fair times.
The
easy times. It's the tough times to be present that really makes the big difference. Be there when needed. The true value of a travel advisor is the true value of a great travel advisor. And as I was saying, because you're there when they need you, when there's a problem, when there's a desired change sometimes, it doesn't always be something necessarily negative. I just got a call yesterday, again, another client that's in Jamaica. I've never had this request before, but I booked her through, I think, next week, Tuesday, and she wants to stay an extra day in Secrets Wild Orchid. And so I had to contact our tour operator to find out, how much she wants to know how much would it cost to stay an extra day at the resort. And of course, that means changing the flights, that means changing the transfers. Fortunately, when you're working with a tour operator, they're there to help you to service your clients so that you're not making 3 or 4 different calls. And so it was easy enough for me because of the late hour. A lot of these tour operators do have what's called in-destination departments. These departments are there to address immediate, I need an answer now type of things. And so almost all of tour operators, if you didn't know, have an in-destination department that handles just those type of things that need to be addressed right away. Unfortunately, sometimes because they're addressing things, they don't necessarily always take phone calls. And you have to email that department. The good thing when you say email, I say, oh my gosh, I would never get an answer. It's 6 o'clock on Saturday. And I was reassured that they would respond within a few hours, and they in fact did. And they gave me the advice that I needed to be able to share with my client, which I need to respond to them today about. They came, it was 6, so I didn't get the message until this morning. So we will be taking care of my client as it relates to that. But being there when needed is an awesome opportunity. Now the next category is key. Whatever that call is about, whether it's a change, like I said, a missed flight, a delayed flight, a canceled flight, whatever the case may be, we've gotten calls for all kind of things. We're here to fix it. We may not, and it's kind of it can be intimidating because sometimes you don't know quite frankly how to fix it or what's going to be involved in fixing it. And that's okay because as we've expressed in other trainings, and we'll reiterate it here, you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. When you're a part of the Travelution family, relational, not just a business. And that's why we love that topic that we're talking about today, because as I divert a little, when you're a part of the Travelution family, we're here to support each other and the more that we can help each other, the greater that we survive as a family. You never leave one out. I heard a great analogy that I thought might be appropriate here, but you don't, if you have a flat, you don't slice the other tires because of one flat. So what we do is work together to fix it. So sometimes when you're working with some companies, not naming anybody in particular, there's a competitive spirit that where I know this and I'm just not going to share it with you type of thing, but we do have a great support system amongst each other and within the company. And so if you don't know how to make that call to support ourselves, whatever it takes, but if it's your fault, I would always tell you. I learned this from one of the founding members of this company. When it's your fault, own it, and do your job to fix it. Don't do a cover-up job trying to, or a blame job, or try to assess it somewhere else. Most of the times, your clients are going to be able to see right through that, and they may not say anything to you, but the way they will speak is that you'll never hear from them again. Silence is deafening when you, and so what we're really talking about is maintain that integrity. We all make mistakes. Clients understand that. As I sit here today, I made plenty of mistakes.
We have.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I don't get that too often. When you, the most powerful two words you can say is, three words is, I'm sorry. Let's get this fixed. And clients, people respect that. And they said that, and oftentimes it's, don't worry, I understand, no problem. And because you're in a relationship, if you've done this well, just like any other relationship, people understand that people make mistakes. And so don't beat yourself up over it. I always try to learn from the mistake, make sure to put things in place so it doesn't happen again, but own it and then work on fixing it. And your clients will appreciate that. And there's been times where I did some mess ups and I said, I'm never going to hear from that client again. And by the time they got back, it was like, hey, I know that was a blooper, but let's get on the next one. And I'm shocked. I just knew they weren't going to call me back because I was beating myself up way more than they were beating me up. They were like, they went on to continue having a great time because it got fixed, and in a timely fashion. I must say that. Sometimes it means putting aside what you have to get done, but these are the moments when you show up and be present that people really appreciate. And it's not something they necessarily have to consciously think about. It almost is like they gravitate to that person of integrity or honesty. And so I don't know how else to put it. It's just, I just know it works. And so now, yeah, you may get something where you never hear from a client again because you messed up. But more often than not, it'll be the client that will keep repeating the business. So be present. Respond to in-destination requests, changes, or issues.
Fix it. I just want to say that. Fix it.
Was that the short version of everything I just said?
Fix it.
Wow.
No, it's not the short version. It's just worth reiterating because our natural instinct as humans is to hide, right? That is our natural tendency. Something happened and maybe I'm not gonna answer the phone. Maybe I'm gonna let it go to voicemail. I'm gonna let it go to text. I'm gonna tell them, I see the phone ringing and I see that it's them. I'm not gonna pick it up. I'm gonna let it go to voicemail. And then, I'm gonna tell them I didn't have the phone wasn't next to me. I didn't realize I missed a call or whatever the case may be. Own up, right? As some people would say, man up and woman up. If there was an issue, if there was something, it was a mistake, if there was an error that you did, fix it. Fix it. What's the worst thing that could happen, right? That they won't come back to you. But guess what? By you taking the time and fixing it, right? You prove to be a person of integrity, right? You're proven to be a person that, hey, look, I made a mistake. And the least that I could do is to fix what I messed up, right? It, you beat up yourself, but you can rest assured that you could put your head down knowing that whatever mistake or whatever happened or whatever transpired, you could just put your head down and you could rest in peace because now you don't have that in your mind saying, oh, I should have fixed it. Oh, I could have fixed it. Oh, why didn't I fix it? Oh, this became a bigger issue because I didn't fix that piece that needed to be fixed. So don't create that what I call dominoes effect, right? With your clients, right? And even the client that does not come back to you is okay because sometimes it's a temporary. I'm not coming back to you because right now I'm mad. I'm upset with you, right? And you fixed it, but be the man. Put on your big girl or your big boy pants, right? And even though they don't communicate with you for a while, it's okay because things happen. But you be the bigger person. You could reach, not that you're reaching out to ask them for any kind of business, but you could be the bigger person and you could reach out to them. Sometimes communication is the best way to kill or quench or nullify whatever misunderstanding or whatever the case may be. And some people just need a break. Some people need a cool down period because they're too hot in the moment about what transpired. But nothing says that you still can't pick up the phone. Nothing says that you can't put a card in the mail. Nothing says that you can't send them a text message. Nothing says that you can't send them an email because you still want to let them know. And especially if they book with you and it's a holiday or their birthday or their anniversary or whatever, okay, you know that they're mad, you know they're upset, you know there's something you have to fix for them. But you be the bigger person. If you were sending out birthday, anniversary, whatever, Christmas, New Year, cards or email to them, don't block them. Don't take them off the list because now you feel, well, they ain't come back to me. It's been a whole year and they don't come back to me. It's okay. You keep doing you because what? You are the great advisor.
Wow, I almost trying to figure out if you were talking about your last boyfriend or the travel. Anyway, with all of that said, being present and responding to the clients, whether it's good news, bad news, or somewhere in between, a desired change oftentimes can be the case. I've even gotten calls where the client was just saying that we're having a great time. So you never know what you're going to get. It can be from 0 to 10. Be prepared for it, and understand, realizing that being there during the tough times is what people appreciate the most, even when the tough times might have been something that you caused. And if they get mad with you, they may get out there and find, hey, are you not finding anybody else that's integral as this person? I was upset with them, but I did it. And so just think of it. All these big companies, when they've made some sort of error and they send these apologetic emails, you've gotten them from time to time. Oftentimes people are upset about the situation, but because of the relationship, they're because hey, I'm a rewards member of this particular place. They messed up, but okay. But they did come forward with it. And oftentimes, it hasn't happened too often with me, but even if I found that I did an error before the client did, I will fix it and then say, hey, I found this, but it's been taken care of. Owning up to errors or dealing with the troubled times, I can't tell you, that's the bonding, not necessarily the separating, if you would. It's just what part of the strongest glue that I think you can have with a client. So with all that said, hey, I tell you, one day I was traveling, my wife and I was traveling. I think we were in Chicago. I can't remember. We ran into one of my clients at the airport. And we didn't know we were going to see each other there or anything like that. We just ran into my clients, and I might have served him for about 2 or 3 trips. He was there with his wife, and I'm there with my wife. Thank God it wasn't with my girlfriend. That would have been a different story altogether. But nonetheless, he opened his arm And he said this to me. Read the bottom. It says, my travel advisor, or I think he might have said my travel agent. He said my travel agent. And he just opened up his arm and gave me a hug. We know each other from a similar organization that we're a part of, but I don't know him like that. And it just meant so much to me. That point, that was about 4 or 5 years ago. From that point on, I wanted to earn that from every possible client I can. So I felt elevated from the travel agent to my travel advisor or my travel agent. The difference between the being sort of separate entity, general. This designation, I was thinking about it, and the warm fuzzy feeling I was having, and I was thinking, this designation being called my travel advisor is common with people when they refer to my doctor, when they talk about my lawyer, and then even my mechanic. And then I was thinking even my mom. Well, I said my mom, I was getting a little carried away. So I crossed that out, but I didn't want to take it out the slide because maybe my mom was a little much, but all those my's, when you think of it, is relationships of trust that has been earned, that has been cultivated. And so I found this great graphic down below. I love my travel agent. I wish I could send one out to each one of my clients. When our budget gets big enough, maybe I'll do that type of thing. But when cultivated well, this is a relationship for life. So you went from a travel agent that booked and just waiting for a commission, transactional, to the possibility of earning the my travel advisor feeling or designation or status with your clients. That's not going to happen with every client. I'm not saying that, but what if you were being intentional about that? How much more your business would elevate? Because when somebody is giving you a service and you're very appreciative of it and you're trusting them, and when your doctor recommends a certain medication, often most people do not look it up and say, is he right? I don't know. I'm not going to look into this before I do anything. Now, you might do some research depending on the situation that you're in, but for the most part, we trust our doctors to prescribe the right medication and the right medical care. We do that with our lawyers oftentimes. When they're advising us on how to handle a situation in a legal, we may do a Google search and reference things, but most times people are going with what their lawyer is talking about. A mechanic, same deal. Oftentimes, especially as a trusted mechanic, they come out of your hood and say, "Hey, this is what you need." Your trusted mechanic, not the ones down the corner that you had no choice to go to. You will just go with what they go with. So my travel advisor, if you're in that same category, puts you in an elevated status that of trust that people believe in. Yeah, go ahead.
And I just wanted to say, again, when we look at my and the, right? My is something that you want to refer, right? If you have a great doctor, right? And somebody comes to you and they ask you, hey, by the way, do you know, whatever, a medical doctor, right? What doctor you go to, right? And then you will start talking about my doctor, right? You don't say the doctor I go to, right? Because if you're using the word the doctor I go to, then there's a disconnect. There's just something. Your relationship with that doctor is a transactional, relationship, right? It's just I go to him, I see him, I pay him, and I'm done, right? Done. But when you are able to say my doctor is, and let me refer you to my doctor. Let my doctor know that I referred you to him. Let my lawyer know. Let my mechanic, right? you are speaking from a standpoint of a relationship that has been built, right? You are speaking from a standpoint of trust, because if you don't trust these individuals, I seriously doubt that you will send or you will refer, right, your friends or family members to the doctor or the mechanic, or the lawyer. So when someone could speak to you and they could say, and I know we like to say advisors, but for the most part, most people will say my agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they will say.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not speaking about their mindset. We are speaking about your mindset, right? So they may say my agent, and that is great, but you have to learn to know to translate their my travel agent as my travel advisor, because you are the one who is giving them the advice. So every time they come to you, you making sure that you are giving them excellent service, that you are following up, that you are following through, that your relationship or your contact with them is not a transactional relationship, right? But you're building a relational relationship. You're developing a friendship. You getting to know your client. You're getting to know what they want. I mean, it is so amazing sometimes when we have repeat clients and when they call us, and there's things about them that automatically you just know, right? There's conversations that you could have with them that has nothing to do with the trip. It has nothing to do with where they're going, where they want to go. Nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
It just have to do with life. When you could ask them, how you doing, how you been, before you jump into, okay, tell me where you want to go. Okay, how much you want to spend. Oh, what is your budget? So it is key. It is everybody does not want a relationship with you. We get it. But you'll be the one to create
The atmosphere.
the
Yep.
atmosphere.
Mhm.
You'll create the
It's your
opportunity,
business, yeah.
right? It is your business. So you keep that window open. So if the person wants to have a relationship with you, right? And not just somebody taking an order, that they feel that communication, door is open, that they can step in, into that space. And you yourself, as the travel advisor, are not putting up a wall. Because I've known travel agents, they are order takers. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to know what happened in your life. They don't want to know about your children. They don't want to know about nothing. They just want you to give them the information so they could book what they need to book, and they done. That's all they're interested in. And here at Travelution, we are a family. We don't even interact with each other like that. Although we each have our own business that we are developing. We don't work like that. We try to keep the communication open. We work with each other because we're not working on transactional. Like even this training for us is not a transactional training. This is a relational training, because even though there's some folks that we don't know yet, right? We would love to have the opportunity of getting to know you beyond a transaction, beyond, hey, Ino and Jerome, how do you do this? No, we want to know about you. Are you married? Do you have kids? How many kids you have? When was the last time you took a vacation? What's your kids' names? We love sharing about our boys. We have 2 boys. One's going to be 25 on July 1st, and the other one is 29. And it's great to be able to share those experiences and just get to build a nice relationship. So yes, my is the agent, right? The travel advisor, the travel agent that they will call you most of the time. My doctor, those are the things that people, or those are the ones that people will refer. Hence, your business will grow. Because once they get to that point, once they get to the state of mind that you are it, I'm telling you right now, you are it.
The screenshot says, what can travel agents do that apps and websites can't? And in big hands it says care. Just think of transactional oftentimes is like one-off bookings. Somebody could have referred them to you, and because you handle it more as a transactional, it might be a one-off event basically. But when it becomes a relational one, if you're following the steps or suggestions that we're talking about, it becomes a lifetime event, over and over, repeat business. This is where you're not having to look for a lot of customers, a lot of clients. The relational is an extension of your brand. Now, there are, if you think of maybe Spirit Airlines, there's a certain feel and vibe to Spirit Airlines. You can make it or break it, as opposed to maybe a Southwest. So you're branding yourself as well. As it relates to relationship, branding is beyond just the logo and the taglines and pictures that might see. It's their experience. And so you are branding the experience. Are you just a order taker, or are you somebody that's going to engage your clients and make sure that their experience is at top notch? It's a great one. And it's a great one.
Yeah.
So my travel advisor, I wanted to just talk about cultivating that relationship just a little bit more. What we've oftentimes have been able to accomplish is becoming a part of the family, almost like a brother, a sister, a stepson. Oftentimes, especially when we're working with groups, by the time we're done with them, they're asking at least half of the time, you should come with us. And you look at the picture below where it says, welcome to the family. That guy, you're going to just listen to anyway, the Godfather. You don't have a choice in the matter. but when you cultivate the relationship to the point where you can get the comments, you really should come with us. We would love for you to come with us. Just imagine what you developed for a lifetime, not just with that individual, but the people that are surrounding them. And that's what's happened for us. We have been growing exponentially as far as our client base and the travel arrangements that we've been able to. Sometimes we meet one person and we're 4 or 5 deep into recommendation. That friend recommended that friend, that recommended that friend, and it's because of the experience. Again, it's not for every situation, but just think you really don't really have to do a lot of looking for clients. That the clients are doing the work for you because you've cultivated a relationship. Oftentimes when we're working with others, we become an honorary member of the group or the club or become the inner circle. They're like, come on, you're a part of us now. You're an honorary version of us now. So that cultivation, when done intentional, it just grows your business as far as client base, as far as bookings, as far as helping people enjoy life and being a part of that life, and about that, upon that experience that they enjoy. And so when you move from a transactional to a relational relationship, somewhere in between the follow through, that was after the booking and waiting for the commission to come through, somewhere between the follow through and being present, you can earn the My Travel Advisor status and elevate to a relational status. And when that, it's a beautiful thing. You know it, you sense it, you can pick up on it, and you know that you have a client for life, and not only them, but their family and friends. And I'll just give you a quick one. I was called about anniversary cruise just this particular about a week ago, And we were going back and forth with different ideas. I was listening to what they had to say. I was saying, well, what about this? What about that? I think you'll like this. I think you'll like that. And they were engaging in that process until we found something they were really excited about, because I was telling them about a great offer that cruise lines are doing to really get clients back. And we ended up, he and his wife, to celebrate the anniversary, decided, hey, let's take that trip out of, we told them about Royal Caribbean's Barbados new home port. And so that's a new home port for Royal Caribbean. And so they're anxious to try to get people there, because you have to fly all the way to Barbados to start the cruise. That's what we mean by home port. And as a result of that, he told his friends about it. And before we knew it, we were thinking one cabin. We're now at a point where I believe tomorrow I'm going to have to call the cruise line and ask them to just put this as one big group so we can get more amenities for these people. We're now at 7 cabins for that one booking. So what we're talking about is real and current. And that wasn't because I called. He just said what he wanted. It wasn't even about a cruise in Barbados when he first asked for. I was making suggestions based on what I was hearing him talk to me about. It was originally Hawaii, and because I know he was elderly and may not necessarily have the refunds, the funding for Hawaii is pretty expensive, especially when it was last minute, because they were talking about early this year. And as I had those conversations with him, and I told him about, because the reason it came up is because he mentioned that he's from Barbados. And so I said, let me tell him about this, because what did that do? That gives him an opportunity. If he's flying over to Barbados, he has family there. He's not going to just fly there for the cruise. He's going to fly there and for the cruise, and then spend a pre and or post time there visiting family that's in Barbados. So what has that done for me? Not only did I am I booking a cruise, but now I'm booking a post and pre-stay, their flights, and insurance. It grew, and the rest of the group is doing the same thing. So I went from one cabin to booking hotels, or about to book hotels and flights for this entire group of people. I think we're up to like 7 or 8 cabins now. So this is why we're talking about that relational component. If it's done correctly and intentional, these type of results can happen.
Listen.
You gotta listen. Yes. So last thing we want to talk about is the close. Well, what do you mean? I mean, you've already booked them. You've made sure that they were covered, and you checked in on them, and you made sure to respond to any of their responses. But then there's after the vacation or trip that I'm talking about when I'm talking about the close. What we typically do is we'll send a welcome back email, or depending on the scenario, we'll call and ask for their feedback. Hey, what did you think? How did you like the place? I'm taking notes when they're telling me, hey, it was too big, it was too small. We really loved it. The beach was great. So I know what type of place they like the next time or a resort they like the next time they call. And so getting that feedback, what did you like about the resort? When they tell me that, I don't just listen to them. I actually take notes and I put it in the CRM. So I have notes of what they said they liked about a particular vacation, and that's helpful for me next time they call. And so asking how was your vacation opens up they talk. But what it gives you the opportunity to do is during that conversation, you can trigger the what next topic. What's next on your bucket list? And so that we're closing on the next adventure. They just got back. They told you about a great time they had. They've experienced everything that we just discussed through your agency. And now we're talking about what's next, and they just got home. I make sure to express my gratitude in them supporting our travel services. I ask them for referrals. Do you know anybody else that would be looking for a great trip in the future? And then, so that starts the closing process. And then start the planning phase and repeat the whole process again. We've done this over and over and over again, and it's worked. It keeps us busy. Oftentimes, it works too well in some cases, but it works. And so we that planning phase they might be talking about next year. So you know what? In 2 months, I will contact you about that particular vacation. Let's discuss it so that you have plenty of time to do payments if you'd like to do that, or perhaps talk to friends about. And I'll get back to you. See what let's lock down on the travel dates that you might have in mind. It might be celebrating an anniversary, a birthday. Let's get that process going. So I'm closing in the checking in on them. If you're intentional about each step, and you'll keep growing your business. So as the caption says, keep calm and let's plan the next trip. That's the close. And with that, this is our close. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions?